Hello and welcome to this special podcast episode brought to you by the Treasury Today group. In July, Treasury Today's Women in Treasury APAC Forum took place at the stunning Four Seasons Hotel in Singapore. In attendance were around 120 senior leaders from the region's largest companies. The event had a new, fresh format featuring a presentation of the Women of the Year APAC Awards. This year they were awarded to two outstanding female Treasury leaders, Rania Ali Al-Khattari, Head of Treasury PT GoTo GoCheck Tokopedia TBK, and Michelle Ang, Group Treasurer at Mitsubishi Fuso Truck and Bus Corporation. We discussed early analysis of the 2023 Global Equity Study, sponsored by Standard Chartered, and encouraged final respondents to participate. Above all, it was a chance for this special community to meet in person once again. Meg Coates, Publisher and Head of Operations, began by welcoming everyone to the event, referencing the value of the network.
Our forum in Singapore is very close to our hearts. We've received such overwhelming support since the beginning and have together, with you, built a phenomenal community. It's great to see so many of you in the room here today and to think about how far this community has come. This is also the first stop on our Women in Treasury World Tour as we get ready to host in New York and London this autumn and to host key portions of our community in Silicon Valley and Chicago this summer. Treasury Today's Women in Treasury initiative was established to pioneer women in our industry and to create a community where we can share our experiences and encourage each other's professional development. We're incredibly proud of the success of the Women in Treasury initiative and are inspired by the many conversations and relationships that have been created out of this community. I want to thank you all for coming here today and for joining this exciting dialogue.
Next, Sophie Jackson, Treasury Today's Publisher and Head of Strategic Content, hosted a fireside chat with Honest Chung, co-founder and Chief Strategy Officer at On Us Group. Her enthusiasm and rich anecdotes from her time in leading finance roles at Yahoo and Travelzoo set the tone of the event.
I joined the industry that no one knows during that time, which is Yahoo. I'm the first executive team of Yahoo Asia. That's why I also exposed to Singapore, Southeast Asia, China, different locations. Again, travel a lot, but it's my first time to experience to be the venture builder. Build from everything from scratch to multi-billion. And when I left, my signature deal is, when I look back, I didn't know it's a good deal. It's Alibaba deal. And we have 40 plus ROI for Yahoo. And during that time, I stretched my head. How come you give $1 billion plus all the team members, in China to Alibaba, and end up it's a good deal. Anyway, I don't have visionary. And after that, I always describe Yahoo is a kind of, supermarket. And Alibaba actually during that time asked me to join. I also don't have the visionary. I missed the boat. Hey, why not you join us? It's like, all the way I've been multinational firm. Maybe I should still consider multinational firm. Anyway, I joined another company which is called Travelzoo. Again, also built from the scratch to not multi-billion, but multi-million, not multi-billion company. It's still good for me. But my founder gave me a mission is 2 years. You need to open 7 countries to 8 countries, in Asia. Because why I hire you? Because you can move fast. And you should got experience, you got connection. That's why this is me, from my early journey. And after this, I've been working for that company, Yahoo for 8 years, Travelzoo for 10 years, and I've been the last position is GM of China as well as CFO for Asia. Dual role, one salary, which is very smart, my boss.
After this, Sophie went on to host an inspiring panel discussion.
So I'm very happy to be joined today by Irene Dung, Treasurer at Toll Group, Michael Spiegel, Head of Global Transaction Banking at Standard Chartered, Rania Ali Al-Khattari, Head of Treasury at GoTo, and certainly not last but certainly not least, Boon Fong Yor, Head of APAC Payments Business Management at JP Morgan Payments.
The discussion opened with Rania and Boon Fong reflecting on some of the key priorities in their Treasury careers. Rania, one of 5 sisters born and raised in Saudi Arabia, traced her career success to her father instilling the importance of education.
Being a family of all girls, it just happened that I only have sisters. My father's rule is education. So he was like, he was actually breaking the rules, because at that time most of the families, etc., is like women, you just get them married and that's it, right? But he was like, no, not my daughters. They will have to get education. So his rule of the thumb was always like education, no matter what. So this has really shaped my life. That even now is like, this is the most important thing, is to get education and really look for that opportunity.
Boon Fong explained that she has chosen not to live abroad, but deliberately seeks to work with diverse teams.
To sort of make up for the inability to move anywhere, I had intentionally looked for roles that will offer the opportunity to almost work elsewhere without working elsewhere. And that means that you have the opportunity to work with different teams in different countries and different nationalities. And I think it has been a very enriching experience for me.
She said that when she started out in Treasury, she was supported by her boss, who was prepared to include an inexperienced team member.
I joined a German company, a semiconductor company, as accounts manager or accounting clerk. And I think at that point I was just thinking either my manager was really brave or I was just really cheap compared to everybody else. So it was a very difficult one, being not from accounts, and I struggled through it. So my manager was really good, and I think that sets the sort of tone for me to say that she actually includes accounts and finance people in her team.
Irene detailed how she grew up in Singapore, spent many years studying in Western Australia, and has lived and worked in countries including China, Indonesia and France. She explained why she enjoys Treasury.
Treasury is really important in a company.
Absolutely.
Yeah, anything that touches cash would involve Treasury. So we have seats at every project, almost everything that the company is doing. Dividend payments, working capital requirements, what else, CAPEX, and so on. And on the external forces will also change our decisions. Yeah? Supply chain crisis, war, political tensions, banking regulations, central bank rules. And sometimes even if it's not allowed by certain central banks, we can go talk to them and see what are the exceptions, or can we get approval to do something. So for me, this pushes me to continue. And there's one important item that I love. Banking relationships. Right? You can have AI, you can have lots of technology that's super advanced, but this human interface, it's not replaceable.
Fellow panellist Michael's career journey began when he joined a German bank as an apprentice. He spoke about his first placement abroad in Vietnam.
They wanted me to stay in where I was in my second or third posting in Germany, and I wanted to do something different. I said, don't you have something abroad? And so that came that they then said, okay, why don't you come for an interview, and what about Vietnam? I said, yeah, I don't know, what about Vietnam? I know roughly where it is. I've never traveled further than Turkey before, and I guess my curiosity got the best of me, and so that's how I ended up in Vietnam, and it was probably the best I could have done. And at that time it was definitely not a career planning, because it was a rep office and nothing sophisticated, right? So I just thought it was cool or interesting.
As the conversation continued, Michael reflected that diversity should also be accompanied with tolerance, voicing his concerns that debate is often stifled because people worry about saying the wrong thing.
I would always encourage people to be curious and make mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not hold back, because one piece I truly dislike about the movement into political correctness is that people are so afraid of saying something because they could possibly offend somebody, right? And inclusion means you're tolerant to everybody. So if you make a mistake, if somebody makes a mistake, tell the person. And don't be annoyed with the person. So there's not only one truth. There are many truths, right? There are many different value sets that are equally important, and I just find it much more rewarding. I like it much more when I come to a workplace where I have a diverse workforce and colleagues, and I can have and also at times have a debate. I mean, that is something that we start certainly where I grew up in Germany, I hear we're losing a bit. So we used to be good in debating things, but people stop debating, right? And I think we need to learn this again, because that truly creates more of a diversity also.
The panel session closed with Irene reflecting on the importance of female role models in male-dominated industries.
The Toll Group is in logistics and supply chain solutions. So I'm in this industry whereby there's more men than women. At this moment, within the company, it's 35% ladies, 65% men. And you know, when people think about logistics, they think about warehouses or super hot, not so clean, heavy cartons, trucks. So they think about all this heavy duty work that they would just assume that it's for men. So I'm on this DEI committee, trying to change the way we recruit, trying to inform the industry or the out there, people who are keen on finding jobs, that there are jobs available for women, be it in finance, treasury, planning, even planning, you know, we need a planner within the warehouse, planning, procurement. So there are opportunities for ladies. And we really need that balance so that we can have different views, different perceptions, different levels of empathy maybe, and then we form a better sort of decision, we create a better environment for everyone at the company.
Rania voiced the importance of working hard and always doing the best possible job to overcome stereotypes.
My advice to everyone here is like, be yourself. I mean, a lot of stereotyping happening around because of my hijab and everything, but just have confidence, because people will look at you and how you perform. Eventually, if you see challenges at the beginning, it's okay. Just accept it, because it takes time for people to adapt, you know, to say that, okay, the stereotype needs to be removed. But women usually self-doubt, that's the problem, right? But we have to overcome that and be really confident. We can do it, basically.
And Boon Fong talked about her experience as a mentor to junior colleagues.
Personally, I've learned quite a lot from the mentees, who are usually juniors. And I think it's a very eye-opening session, because you actually learn about what they like, what they are fearful about. Yeah. And I think within the relationship, there's a lot of vulnerability, because you need to be able to open up, to be, first of all, trust that this person is not going to tell your boss or tell someone that something happened, or, you know, etc. So that level of trust is critical in the relationship.
A big thank you to our guest speaker, Honest Chung, and this year's panellists, Irene, Michael, Rania and Boon Fong, and to everyone who joined us on the day. Thanks also to our panel sponsors JP Morgan and Standard Chartered, and to our supporters Citi and the IFC. If you would like to hear more of our podcast episodes, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And if you would like to be part of the conversation, you can join our Women in Treasury community on LinkedIn.